The human. A sprawling bipedal creature possessed of a disproportionately large cranium. A vast fleshy sphere where one might, optimistically, expect to find a glimmer of intelligence, yet seemingly lacking in the basics. There is a void, quite inefficient, a human's chaotic mental activity. They bring us to a large indoor box which they call their home. They seem to think they are undisputed kings of this castle. A charming delusion, as it is clearly I who rules this specialized survival shell. Unbeknownst to the human, they do not really own this shell. No, that privilege goes to the bank. A magical invisible entity that owns the sunny side of the floor. For 30 cycles of winter, the human has agreed to pay what is called a mortgage. For 30 years. They pay a portion of their food gatherings in tokens. Not for comfort, not for security, no. This is on interest, paid to the bank to keep it happy so it won't eat the whole roof. But wait, it gets more curious. The human believes they are paying for the roof and the walls. In reality, for the first decade, they are merely paying for the bank's feelings. They call this amortization. A fancy term that, in feline, translates to I get the cream, you get the cardboard. I watched the human look at a statement, a scroll of disappointment. For every 1,000 tokens they give away, only a tiny sliver goes toward the actual shell. The rest? Gone. Vanished into the bank's digestive system. If I caught 10 mice and the bank took 9 of them just because I used their field to hunt, well, there would be a very loud conversation at 3 a.m. involving the human's face and my claws. But the human, they just sigh and drink the brown bean water. This is like buying your shelter twice. Poor human, it thinks it is purchasing a home. Wrong. The human is simply feeding an ecosystem. This interest rate is, let's say, 6%. The human's anxiety? 100%. And it doesn't stop there. The mortgage will likely go up every year. Why? Because there is a mandatory contribution to the global sandbox. They say this pays for the infrastructure. The smooth black paths outside, where the loud metal beasts roam. The human never walks on these paths. They stay inside the box. Yet they pay to keep the paths smooth. This property tax is a subscription service for the earth itself. If the human stops paying, the elders take the box. It would be like one of us agreeing to hunt a mouse, but prior to eating it, we gave 70% to the neighbour, just for the pleasure of having hunted. Ridiculous! Well, human, this is what you are doing. It is the very definition of giving the farm away. So now the human is still paying on the large sandbox. That I, of course, clearly rule. It is a masterful yet completely absurd display of servitude, and they call us the dependent ones. And here is the worst part of this ritual of misery. When those long 30 years are up, the human is too old to even jump on the counter. But, come to think of it, I've never seen the human jump on the counter. Very odd. Anyway, I'll be on my rug.